Hey guys, Becca Scoops here. Hey, how you guys doing today? Hope your day is going lovely. Hope everything is doing well in your life. I'm coming to you because, well, it's a reaction. I have to react. I have to react. So it'll be a reaction video to Kristy Blanchard. Now, most of you know Kristy Blanchard is Gypsy Rose Blanchard's stepmother, right? Here they are at a premiere, one of the Lifetime premieres. Kristy, of course, is married to Rod Blanchard, Gypsy's biological father. Gypsy's mom was Claudinia Dee Blanchard. Gypsy murdered her and went to prison for 8 years. And from what we can tell, and we're going to make an extensive video about this that we're working on, but I had to take a time out of that video to do a little reaction video because Kristy was over on the TikTok streets talking a lot. And I just thought, you know what? Stop the presses. Let's go and make a little video to react to this. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So Kristy was over on TikTok and she wanted to, make some peace with some anti-gypsy people. That's what I was told. I don't know how true that is, but I received some clips and I thought, you know what? Yeah, let's share these. Let's talk about it because I think they're very interesting when you think about the whole entire gypsy saga. Kristy is a main player. And newsflash, I have somebody that's very close in the Blanchard circle that talks to me now behind the scenes. And so I promised, of course, I would never give out their identity, and I won't. And I'm not here to make gossip. I'm here to report on things and back up things, right? So whatever this person tells me, I do take with a grain of salt. But I have heard some things about Kristy. So let's get right to it. Kristy was over on TikTok talking to some people, and she wanted to discuss the whole entire thing. She wanted to kind of make peace. I guess there have been some problems over there with the whole bullying and the doxing and people going back and forth. And what I think, I couldn't confirm this totally, but there was this thing about this TikTok account that popped up called Bayou Mafia Mama. And it looks like it's Kristy. Now, I believe Kristy, pretty like 100% sure Kristy has disavowed this account. But the problem is, if you see where it says wanted, guys, see wanted, wanted, wanted. This is an account that we're going after content creators who were not backing Gypsy, who are being critical of Gypsy. So if you're critical of Gypsy, you ended up over here on this TikTok account, and they were trying to get these accounts taken down. They were reporting them for bogus things and trying to get them taken down. And whoever made this account used Kristy or a likeness of Kristy and then called her Bayou Mafia Mama. Many of you may know that my grandfather was actually in the real mafia. So I don't really take, too kindly to this kind of a jokester about the mafia, but that's for another day. Anyways, I think Kristy came out to say, look, this isn't me. I think it's safe to say it's probably someone she knows or someone that Gypsy knows, right? Okay. So she came out of the woodwork to say that. All right. Okay. So one of the first things that she wanted to talk about, and I didn't put this in any order, so it's not an actual order. It's just these are sound clips. We're going to play them, and then we'll go ahead and we'll react to them. Okay. So let's go ahead and listen to this one first.
Gypsy's actions alone.
Hold on, I got to back it up.
Said I don't look for it. I don't.
Well, I think that maybe you should start looking for it, because if you want to be a good stepmom to her, if you do want to be her new mama, that's something that she's going to need help with.
Yeah.
I was a Gypsy fan. I thought this girl was a victim. I was so happy to see her getting out of prison, having another chance. And it was Gypsy's actions alone.
And I also think that
Completely different.
I also think that she needs to stop slandering Dee Dee the way that she's
Yeah.
slandering her, because in her medical records, Kristy, and I have gone over her medical records extensively, there is no sign of medical abuse. Everything that she had done was due to her microdeletion.
Okay. So these young ladies on the panel, and it's this was a TikTok panel. A few of them, Kristy is up there, and they're trying to make their point, and they're actually confronting her. So I give them that. They're confronting her. Let's go back just a little bit and so we can hear what Kristy's answer is to this.
Kristy, and I have gone over her medical records extensively. There is no sign of medical abuse. Everything that she had done was due to her microdeletion.
Okay. So this woman is saying, hey, Kristy, everything that happened to Gypsy was due to her rare genetic disorder, the microdeletion. Let's hear what Kristy says.
Yeah. But y'all, her microdeletion was like so freaking borderline.
I understand, but when
was borderline. What does that mean?
And they found, can I just state this, because I think you need to know this, and I think you need to go over
the stuff we found in that house. Then.
But
Kristy's saying you guys don't understand. You don't understand the stuff we found in that house. And you guys may be wondering, well, what does that have to do with the microdeletion? Wait for it. Wait for it.
I think you need to go over this, because this is really important. When
I'm going to back it up so you can hear Kristy saying the stuff that we found in that house.
This, because I think you need to know this, and I think you need to go over
the stuff we found in that house. Then.
But I think you need to go over this, because this is really important. When they found out about the microdeletion, the hospital visits lessened, and they stopped going to the hospital.
Okay. So this woman's point is, look, Kristy, according to the medical records that we have, after the microdeletion was diagnosed, when Dee Dee finally got the answer of what was wrong with her little girl, and that was around 2011, the visits to the hospital, the visits to the doctors lessened. That's what this woman is telling Kristy. And let's hear what Kristy has to say about that.
Yeah, if she truly had Munchausen by proxy, the visits wouldn't have lessened.
But do you know one of the reasons why is because
and do you know one of the reasons why? That's what Kristy says. Do you know one of the reasons why? Let's hear what she says, why the visits lessened.
So that prescription pad.
But because she found that prescription pad. All right, back it up.
You know one of the reasons why is because you saw that prescription pad.
But I've known a person that has.
What? What are you talking about? If you guys are lost, there is this lore. It's never been proven that supposedly they found a doctor's prescription pad in that mess in the house when they were cleaning it out. You know, like somebody stole a whole doctor's prescription pad, is what she's alleging. And she's alleging that Dee Dee did it. She's alleging that Dee Dee stole this prescription pad so that she didn't need, I can't even say it with a straight face. So she didn't need to take Gypsy to the doctor as often because she had the bogus prescription pad that she was writing bogus prescriptions with. What are you talking about? Look, I have never said that Dee Dee Blanchard was a saint. You all know I believe that she was malingering with Gypsy, that they were running a medical scam, okay, with the charities and stuff. I do not believe from everything that I've seen over a year of researching this case, that Dee Dee had Munchausen by proxy. There's nothing to indicate that at all. But there's a lot of stuff to indicate that she was scamming. Okay. That's true. All right. But for it to be Munchausen, there's certain criteria, and Dee Dee doesn't meet the criteria. I'm not going to get all into that right now. It's in my other videos. She doesn't meet the criteria. That's not based on what I say. That's based on what other forensic psychologists and psychiatrists have said. So it's not just even one or two. Dr. John Mathias of Hidden True Crime is one of them. All right. Kristy wasn't done talking. After that little part about, maligning and accusing Dee Dee of stealing a prescription pad. Let's listen to this soundbite.
Just maybe having her take accountability for it.
And stop bullying us or building a cult.
They're talking about have Gypsy start taking accountability and have her stop bullying us.
You know, you could bring a horse for water, as they say. She'll do it on, like I said, she will do it on her own time. Gypsy.
I hope people don't get hurt.
I don't think people are going
When
to
there's people around her, and I'm trying to be respectful with this, Kristy, but you're enabling her behaviors.
Yeah.
You're signing her up for these shows. You're signing her up for.
I'm not signing her up for no shows.
Are you not her?
All right, there you have it. Ooh, that struck a chord. Did you hear it? Let's go back a little bit. That struck a chord.
Signing her up for no shows.
Are you not her manager?
I'm not signing her up for no shows. I don't want her in no shows. I don't get nothing out of those shows. More on that later.
Oh, no.
Oh, her lawyer or manager.
I'm not.
But you have a big say in that.
I'm
With
not her
the
manager.
No show. Like you've been involved with all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course. But I'm not her manager. I didn't line none of this up. Didn't.
Right. Her lawyer did. I know so. We've been involved with it every step of the way.
Yes.
Do you get a kickback?
You've been involved in it every step of the way. Every step of the way. The next woman says, "Do you get a kickback?"
To stop, I highly suggest maybe having her take accountability.
Hold
This
on.
up. Didn't.
Right. Her lawyer did. I know so. We've been involved with it every step of the way.
Yes.
Do you get a kickback?
No.
Nah. Nah. What else does she say here? Listen.
Yeah. I know. Depends.
It depends.
Is it worth it? No, I don't know. I mean,
So you haven't been paid at all for your time on the show?
we gave the money to Gypsy.
There it is. I know from my source, and I believe this. Not only do they get paid, they're not giving it all to Gypsy. And I've also been told by my source that Kristy has a direct line to TMZ senior reporter named Charlie Neff. It's a woman, name's Charlie Neff. That's who Kristy calls. She wants to sell some photos, wants to sell a story. That's what I've been told by my source. And I tend to believe it. I don't have anything to back that up, except that I can tell you that my source is legit. As legit as they come.
But I thought she couldn't make money off the shorter of.
You guys would.
Well, we don't have to send a sample.
Kristy, can you actually verify this one fact for me that I'm actually very curious about? It's from my understanding. I don't know, and I don't know if this was.
That clip ends there. So at first she said, nah, she didn't make anything. Then she hemmed and hawed. Then she said, I give it all to Gypsy. All right. All right. If you say so. Here's these two. You know, they got the matching tattoos going, right? Yeah. Okay. The next clip that we're going to get to here is Kristy. This isn't good. This isn't good. Here we go. Hold on. Sorry.
She She always
that was her thing.
like
Nobody has anything bad to say about her. They all said that she was great. She volunteered all the time. She gave, efforts here and there.
I think this is Hello Starlight saying that, hey, Dee Dee was, by all accounts, people in the neighborhood, people that talked about Dee Dee after her demise, said that she was great. She volunteered, yada, yada, yada. So that's the premise of this clip.
she liked to be known. She always
That was her thing.
liked attention.
Yeah.
So Kristy's saying she liked to be known. She liked attention. Sound like anybody else we know?
Look, y'all. I mean, I never forget when she told me that she was a groupie for Great White.
I'll never forget that she told me she was a groupie for Great White. That's a band for you guys that are young that don't know. Great White was it's like a rock band.
And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, I was in the Thank You. It's a twice bitten.
Once bitten, twice shy.
Once bitten, twice shy, yeah.
How she said that.
I'm a Gen Xer, so I know that.
Yeah. Like that they thanked her in there. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, so they were thanking you for being on your knees a lot,
Oh, so they were thanking you for being on your knees a lot. Really, Kristy? Really? Yeah, let's hear it again. She's talking about a dead woman. Let's listen.
They thanked her in there. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, so they were thanking you for being on your knees a lot,
Right, but to her, that was...
Wow. Wow. No words. You guys be the judge. Leave your comments. Leave your comments. I don't know. It's just not a good look. Not a good look. Okay. Now, the part that really, really caused me to want to do this video has to do, and I've spoken about this before at length. My problem right now with Gypsy is that she's on social media. The Blanchards and Gypsy seem to think of social media like oxygen, like you have to be on social media because you have to breathe. And like if we say, you know what, get off social media, you're a mommy murderer, stop trying to be a mommy vlogger, stop trying to influence people, they get very incensed. How dare we? How dare we suggest this? Because that's like cutting off oxygen. No, it's not like cutting off oxygen. All right? It's not the same thing. So I'd like you guys to listen to this clip here, and we're going to get into this influencing now. This really blew me away.
Those people that was influenced by Gypsy, because they did try to harm me before. And then, I had to put my oldest in a...
This woman is going to talk about her daughters. I think it's just one daughter that she had to put into, I believe she's going to say a psych facility because Gypsy was influencing them too much.
Mental health facility. They were in there for a month because of it.
If I could out.
My oldest was in a mental health facility for a month because we had to put them in there because of the fact that they kind of idolized Gypsy, and the fact that they were listening to their book or Gypsy's book on, the audio version of it, because Gypsy has that distinct voice. But
She does, and her great grandmother, same voice.
But she does kind of influence some younger people, even if it's unintentional.
That's not her intention, right? That's not her intention.
I don't care what her intention is. I don't give a fuck what her intentions are on social media. I want to know. It's like I got into a car, I was drunk, and I hit someone and I killed them. It wasn't my intention. Get off social media, Gypsy. Get off social media. Okay? No, it's not your right to be on social media. No, people want to know about you because you're infamous, because of what you did, not because they think you're cute and they want parenting tips.
She does not want
I know that's
kids.
And I
for people, even if it's unintentional.
That's not her intent, right? That's not her intention. She does not want
I know that's
kids.
And I
look
think that's
up to
also
her.
very, I think that's very important also with all this that's been going on with the harassment, the bullying, all of it is that she does want to influence people, but yet her side is
like make it like do a live and like or something and like say, okay, kids, you know, what I did was wrong. And
No, no, Kristy. No, this isn't a teaching moment. No, Gypsy. And why I'm saying this is because there's a news clip of before Gypsy gets out of prison, and Kristy's on News Nation, and she said, this was set up a long time ago, you guys. This whole influencing, this whole mommy vlogging, this whole going out into the community to be an influencer, to be an advocate. This was planned from the get-go. In that news clip, Kristy is telling, I can't remember the woman reporter, it's the blonde woman on News Nation. She's telling her, Gypsy's going to go into schools. She's going to talk to kids and tell them, don't kill mommies. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with this? No, 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 no. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I listen to these people. It's crazy.
doesn't want that. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
She
yeah,
doesn't.
I think a lot of people are misinterpreting.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I had one friend and she asked her granddaughter, you know, like, why you like Gypsy? Well, because like she did her mom. And it was like, whoa.
There you go. There's another one. Thanks for divulging that, Kristy. There's another one. Oh, because of what she did to her mom. I like her because of what she did to her mom. I don't understand how these people don't understand around her, around Gypsy in her sphere to tell her, no, shut it down. No, because of what you did, honey, you're not going to be an influencer. Because of what you did when you murdered your mom, this isn't the path. That path is closed to you now. In life is not fair. It's not fair. Sometimes things happen within our control and not in our control that close doors for us, that close paths for us. That doesn't mean our life's over with. It just means, no, Gypsy, you're not going to be an influencer. It's not a good idea. And all you're doing now is you're a train wreck. People are either hate watching you or you've got young kids, it seems like, that you're influencing. So stop it. Shut it down. All right. I'm not done. There's more. There's more. Okay.
No one has anything bad to say about her. They all said that she was great. She volunteered all the time. She gave, efforts here and there.
Oh, sorry. This one I already played about her being on her knees. I'm sorry. Well, let's reiterate that. That was a horrible that was a horrible comment for Kristy to make about her, about Dee Dee, saying that she was. I won't go over it again. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right. Okay.
Came out about everything that my mother was telling me.
This is from the Lifetime show. I just wanted to show you guys who Gypsy talks about influencing her and telling her stuff.
A lot of this information came to me by either Mike, my attorney, or Kristy.
So all of this information, and this is about the Munchausen, this is about everything, she said, came to her from either Mike, her attorney, or Kristy. Okay?
What they choose to do with it is what they choose.
At this point, there's numerous proofs of her talking poorly about Nick.
She's not even supposed to really talk about it, and she can't talk.
I understand that, but she sure as hell does.
And then why was, I mean, we've all on this app, and I'm sure you've seen it, the infamous video of her friend Bree telling her to lie to her parole officer. What did you feel about that?
I was like, oh Lord.
And again,
why didn't you ask Gypsy to stop talking to Bree? Obviously.
I had to talk. I'll get out of talk, but y'all, I can talk to her and give her advice, and I can give anybody advice all day long. And what they choose to do with it is what they choose to do with it. I can't be faulted for her not following through. She is 33 years old. She's going to live and learn.
Right, but as her stepmother and as somebody
who has to learn the hard way, but then she's going to learn the hard way.
But wasn't she put in y'all custody? I mean, aren't y'all somewhat like accountable for what and responsible for her?
And that's what I was going to say. Respectfully, Kristy, you are supposed to be somebody who is guiding her and giving her advice, and yet she can't even take
with what I know.
But then you need to tell her and tell her to take accountability for the actions that she has caused, because surely nobody is doing that.
Is she in therapy?
Oh yeah, she is.
Kristy at the end says she is in therapy. I don't believe it. Or if she is, it's not. It doesn't really matter. Here they confront her again about you're the influence. You're the one influence in her life. The dad, Rod, he's gone. You know, Ken's not influencing her. It's Kristy. Kristy could influence her. Kristy is the older woman. Kristy is the one who should be telling her to get off social media. Kristy is the one who should be trying to instill, get away from these crazy people on TikTok. They aren't helping you. All right. They're running around. I mean, that one thing I showed you guys that they had made about Kristy. These are these people. This isn't, this isn't going to end well. This isn't going to end well. All right. Here's another clip. This one also like totally blew my mind.
Gypsy is unscathed by this microdelusion. I truly believe that Gypsy is unscathed by this microdelusion.
I think that she is, but she's not. She isn't. Right,
because there are definitely things that.
Do you think she admits to having the microdeletion at all, or do you think she denies it?
Yeah, she believes it because she put it on her TikTok. She did like a whole thing on her.
She has it. I mean, and she, she looks at it like it could be worse. It could have been, more side effects. The doctor, I told her when she got retested was like, you have it, but you're so borderline.
But even
she does have muscle
Starlight, no, can I say that?
But yeah.
In regards to her microdeletion, though, when it comes down to it, does she realize that all the medical procedure she did have was due to the fact that she needed it because of the microdeletion, or is she in denial about it, and that's why she thinks it's medical abuse?
I'm going to tell y'all what I honestly think. I think, and this is not Gypsy thinking, this is my train of thought because of the way I knew Dee. I think when she found out Gypsy had the microdeletion, that yes, these are side effects, but who's to say Gypsy would have had those side effects? And I think Dee made some of those things happen, like with her teeth put in the Oragel in her mouth so she could drool and stuff.
Oh, we have baby.
Are you kidding me? This ridiculous lie again that's easily disproven? This ridiculous fabricated lie about Dee that Dee manifested these symptoms in Gypsy. Let me just show you guys something. So what she's trying to say here is that somehow when Gypsy was born, she was born with issues that the doctors knew were not right. So she had microcephaly. Okay. So right away they knew that's a small head. They measure the head and they're like, wow, this child's head is not the normal size. And so right there, they knew there was something genetic going on. All right. By the other things they found in Gypsy, she had breathing difficulties. These other things they found, they knew that it was a genetic chromosome disorder. How do we know that? Well, we know that because it's the microcephaly. We know it from the medical notes that I've read. And we also know because even Rod stated it in interviews that Dee Dee told him Gypsy had a chromosome issue. This was back when she was very, very little. When Gypsy was very, very little, this certain chromosome issue that Gypsy had was not yet diagnosed by the medical professionals. No one knew what it was. They knew by her symptoms that something was wrong with her genetically and chromosomally, but they didn't know exactly what it was. Thus, this was the search. This was when she had the muscle biopsy to see if she had muscular dystrophy. It was negative. Those tests, all those tests were done to try to figure out what was wrong with her. They didn't know. Dee Dee could not have known. Okay. So what Kristy is suggesting here is that Dee Dee made Gypsy drool and thus got her salivary glands removed. Well, you guys, her salivary glands were removed in 2004. Guess what year Gypsy was diagnosed with her chromosomal disorder? 2011. So how in the hell would Dee Dee know that 8 years later, Gypsy would be diagnosed with something that would have these symptoms? Do you follow what I'm saying here and how crazy this is? How upsetting it is to malign a murdered woman. It's upsetting. If it's truth, then it's truth. No matter if someone's dead or alive, the truth is the truth about them. But to suggest that Dee Dee somehow foresaw in the future and goes, oh yeah, I know that Gypsy will be diagnosed with this disorder that no one knows about yet. And then she'll have these symptoms. And so I'm going to manifest these symptoms so that when she gets diagnosed with it, voila. Was Dee Dee God? Was she some kind of, I mean, this is crazy, right? This is crazy. But this is what she's suggesting. Okay. These are the 4 procedures that Gypsy had based on her own drawing, her scars that happened. The G2 placement, the laparoscopy, and the muscle biopsy, and the salivary gland removal. So, yeah, when I heard that, it just
We don't know that.
Make you drool so excited.
Thinking this is my train of thought because of the way I knew Dee Dee. I think when she found out Gypsy had the microdeletion, that yes, these are side effects, but who's to say Gypsy would have had those side effects? And I think Dee Dee made some of those things happen, like with her teeth put in the Oragel in her mouth so she could drool and stuff.
So we have babies.
But we don't know that.
Again, why have to malign her? Why have to slander her in this way? If you guys would just stop doing that, if you just would stop doing it, people would respect you. But to make up these incredibly stupid statements, I don't know where you're going with this. Okay? Look, like I said, I never said that Dee Dee wasn't scamming charities, that she wasn't, doing that stuff. Okay? I've said that. I've never backed away from that. All right? But what I won't say is some made up crap like this. Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that? I don't know. Why do you have to do that to a dead woman? I don't know. I don't get it. Do you think vilifying Dee Dee more will make Gypsy look better? The cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows the truth now about all of this. Okay? So just I just want to listen to it one more time because it's just this is the problem. Because if you think this is who's influencing Gypsy,
The way I knew Dee Dee, you know, I think when she found out Gypsy had the microdeletion, that yes, these are side effects.
she found out she had the microdeletion in 2011. Her salivary glands were removed in 2004. All right, let's go on.
But who's to say Gypsy would have had those side effects? And I think Dee Dee made some of those things happen, like with her teeth.
So 2004, Dee Dee was putting Orajel on her teeth, making her drool. This is your theory, because she would know that 8 years later she'd be diagnosed with the microdeletion.
Put in the Orajel in her mouth so she could drool and stuff.
Oh, we have babies.
But we don't
Orajel
know
doesn't
that.
make you drool so excessively.
Orajel
that
does
you
not.
have
Yeah,
to take
Orajel doesn't.
get your saliva
Orajel is known for taking away the numbing pain or the pain in the teeth. It's to help the teeth so that you don't feel the pain.
And Gypsy failed her swallow studies, and she had in Botox injections. She was drooling.
Here, Starlight is bringing some truth that's in the medical records that Gypsy did fail the swallow studies. It's in the medical records. She had Botox injections to help with that. Okay, before they ever did the salivary gland removal. And by the way, you've got thousands of salivary glands. They didn't take all of her salivary glands. She's got a lot left. Okay, but they did take some. All right. And obviously it was a problem because they did the Botox first to see if that would help. And then they kept coming back saying it was a problem. And you can see when Gypsy talks that her tongue, and I'm not going to be comical here, her tongue juts out. She has the tongue thrust. That's part of it. It's all part of the microdeletion. So, yeah. Let's hear what Starlight makes some good points here.
I asked her about the hearing test because everybody's like,
Or the pain in the teeth. It's to help the teeth so that you don't feel the pain.
And Gypsy failed her swallow studies, and she had in Botox injections. She was drooling. She had problems
I
with
asked her about the hearing test because everybody's like, how?
not the hearing, the swallowing.
But with the hearing test, I asked her, I said, were you in the room alone, for the hearing test? She's like, no, my mom was on the side. I mean, she was squeezing my side or something.
What she's talking about here is there's a hearing test, and they're very, very upset about this because in the doctor's notes, it says that Gypsy was malingering. Gypsy was malingering. They said that they knew Gypsy was not giving the right answers. They knew that. All right. They didn't know why she was, but she was. All right. And here's what Kristy says why Gypsy wasn't giving the right answers during this hearing test.
There's no way. I'm sorry.
I'm telling y'all don't realize how good Dee Dee was. Were you in the room alone, for the hearing test? She's like, no, my mom was on the side. I mean, she was squeezing my side or something.
So she says, were you, she's asking Gypsy, were you in the room alone for the hearing test? And Dee Dee and Gypsy said to Kristy, no, my mom was on the side holding my hand, squeezing my hand. Doesn't even make any sense. You guys have all had hearing tests. How would she know when to squeeze her hand? Like to do what? I don't know.
There's no way. I'm sorry.
I'm telling y'all don't realize how good Dee Dee was.
You don't know how good Dee Dee was.
You do realize how good Gypsy is.
But look, I'm just going on my stance.
Mother in there to squeeze on their child during a hearing test.
I might be thinking the same exact thing if I would be either one of them.
Because my son actually had to get hearing test done to get.
Okay. There's one more here. Here we go.
But I did not know, and I told Rod sizes. But I did not know, and I told Rod, I said, maybe she didn't want us to come because she got overweight. She was embarrassed. In my head, I'm thinking Dee Dee still with the long hair, from the last time I saw her. Because Rod didn't even recognize her in the picture with Dee Dee and Gypsy and the dog. He's like, who's that with Gypsy? I said, that's Dee Dee. He said, no. I said, look at her nose.
So talking about this picture here I have on the screen.
And he liked the shit. He was like, Kristy, I looked at this picture 10 times. I did not recognize her. And I'm like, how could you? I said, I saw her nose and I knew it was her. I was shocked to see, she let herself go. Yeah, but her weight was, was probably part of the issue of her health. She was.
How did Rod not recognize Dee Dee? because he hadn't seen them for years and years and years, right? Now, their story is that Dee Dee, the evil, wicked witch, would not allow them to see Gypsy. That's their story. That she would invite them, but then disinvite them or ghost them, not be there for whatever reason. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true or not. I do know if you're a parent, you can go to court and you can get custody. You can get not just custody. You can fight for custody, obviously, but in the very least, as a father, you can get visitation. You can get visitation rights pretty easily. And he didn't do that. And when they took off from Missouri, I don't know if you guys have been through a divorce, but usually you can't leave the state without the permission of the other parent. I'm sure Dee Dee didn't ask him, but then Rod didn't fight it. They were living their own lives in Louisiana, and pretty much Gypsy and Dee Dee weren't a part of it. Now, again, I try to stay unbiased as much as I can. Could this be because Dee Dee didn't want to see him? Yeah, that's possible. That's all possible. But I guess my only point here is that if Rod really, really, really wanted to see Gypsy and Dee Dee was being the wicked witch of the West and wasn't allowing it, he could have gone easily to court and gotten some type of, a monthly visitation, anything.
I remember Rod saying she cooked the best gumbo, but she would pick. She would pick. She'd pick because she was scared to gain weight again. And that was her demon, the weight. And she was scared she was going to gain it back, so she picked like a bird. He said. He was like, she was a good wife. She washed my clothes. She ironed my jeans. I looked at him. He's like, she cooked. I'm like, well, I know you didn't marry me for my cooking because I hate to freaking cook. And you aren't better than me.
You sound like me.
Look, I hate to cook. Like, everybody in my street knows it because they come bring me food. When Rod's home, he cooks. I got to be in a mood. But, at the end of the day, I still sometimes can't wrap my head around, like, a lot of things. It's still hard for me to comprehend.
I think.
Yeah, it's hard for all of us to comprehend too exactly what's going on and why no one is stopping Gypsy. But there's one more little sound clip here. This one, it made me laugh. It might make you laugh too. Here we go.
And whoever wrote that.
She made some mistakes about, doing the fraud thing. Well, that's what some people can only do when they're trying to raise a kid themselves.
Look, we do the best we can with what we have.
Yeah.
And we always want to give our children everything we didn't have.
Yeah, please, Kristy, for the life of me, please don't let Aurora read that book because it's grotesque, it's disturbing, and whoever wrote that book should be fired because
I love it. I love this. Let's hear it again. Truth.
Kristy, for the life of me, please don't let Aurora read that book because it's grotesque, it's disturbing, and whoever wrote that book should be fired because the grammatical errors in it, my goodness.
Let me tell you, that's kind of our fault because we were so busy and we didn't finish reading it. Like this,
they were so busy they didn't finish proof reading it. I have so much to say about this, but I'll hold off.
The Saints were against the Kansas City Chiefs. No, it wasn't. They said Laura was a nurse. No, she wasn't. She was a housekeeper at the hospital. That was Dee's stepmom, but there are some, little screw ups, but they said they're going to correct it. When they do, they do.
I think she missed what this woman's point was. It's grotesque. The book is gross. It's not something anyone needs to read. It's disturbing in a very grotesque way. Great word. But when Kristy said, hey, it's our fault, we didn't proofread it. Not only did they have two ghostwriters on this, they had an editor. This wasn't like, Kristy, over on the keyboard, and Gypsy sitting next to her going, okay, so then what happened next, Gypsy? We're gonna, like they wrote this book on their own, didn't have any help, and then went over to Amazon and published it on their own. There's an actual publisher of this book. There's an actual editor of this book. There's an actual professional ghostwriter of this book. And it still is grotesque and disgusting. Maybe they did the best they could, the ghostwriter, but they're getting the information from Gypsy. But Kristy wants us to believe they didn't finish proofreading it. What does that have to do with anything? With the substance of the book? The book is not something anyone enjoys reading. It's something you get through. Like you get through having COVID. You get through it. You hope you'll make it out to the other end. I've got the COVID. Okay, we go to bed. Let me get my juice, and everyone, darken the room. I'm going to have to get through this. It's not an enjoyable read. Something extremely disturbing about that book, and that's what that woman was trying to tell you.
And please, Kristy, for the life of me, please don't let Aurora read that book, because it's grotesque, it's disturbing, and whoever wrote that book should be fired, because the grammatical errors in it.
Yeah, well, the grammatical errors aside, the grammatical errors is not the grotesque part, right? But Kristy hones in on what? On what? On what?
Oh, my goodness.
Let me tell you, that's kind of our fault, because we were
we were
so busy and we didn't finish.
We were so busy. We got the book to do, and we've got the media circus, and we got the reality TV series, and yeah. Okay. All right. You lost me at, I don't know what you lost. You lost me at, we were so busy we couldn't proofread.
Reading it, like they say, the Saints were against the Kansas City Chiefs. No, it wasn't.
Like the worst thing about the book was they got the NFL teams wrong in the book. Okay. Yeah, that was a snafu. Damn it. We missed that part. That wasn't the Saints. It was the Chiefs versus the Minnesota Vikings. Damn it. We didn't proofread that right.
They said Laura was a nurse. No, she wasn't. She was a house.
No. Laura, whoever the hell that is. Well, it's Dee Dee's stepmother, but you know what I mean? Regular people listening to this would be like, well, who's Laura and who cares? That the parts of the book I heard, Kristy, were, really? Can we say toothbrush?
Fever at the hospital. That was.
Oh no, maybe the toothbrush wasn't in the book. I'm sorry. I'm getting that confused for you. I'm sorry, you guys. Just, pay no attention to me.
Dee's ex stepmom, but I mean, there are some, little screw ups, but
there's some little screw ups in the book. There's some little things, but trust me, we're gonna get that all fixed. Well, you'd have to burn that book, burn the whole thing, and just please don't do a second edition. They're saying about a second edition. I don't think they sold 50 copies of this book. Well, if they did, it was to the haters and to the content creators.
They said they're going to correct it. I mean, when they do, they do. I think for the second reprint of it, it'll.
Like this is Gone with the Wind or something. It's some major novel, Yeah, it's the 35th print of Gone with the Wind.
It'll all be corrected, but I still haven't read it all.
War and Peace, and My Time to Tand.
Because I'm not ready for some chapters.
Okay, there we go. Kristy's not ready. No wonder. Kristy doesn't know. She hasn't read it. Why does no one in Gypsy's world? Ken doesn't read it. Kristy doesn't read it. Why wouldn't you read a book with somebody that's in your immediate family? What do they know? Oh, they know her. They're like, yeah, nah, I'm not going to read that.
I'll read it when I'm mentally. That might be a time I drink a whole glass of wine.
Yeah, I think you're going to need drugs for that.
I feel that. You might need a Jaeger.
They all laugh
for that one.
I think
Well, that was it. That was it. That was, but one more time here. Let's just one more time.
Screw ups, but they said they're going to correct, but, I mean, there are some, little screw ups, but they said they're going to correct it.
Just a few things. Just a few things that, we're going to have to change. Yeah. So what do you guys think that would be? What are the things they're going to need to change in My Time to Tand? Like the whole book, right? Like the whole thing is grotesque. Like this woman said in the beginning, please don't allow the little girl at any point, even when she gets bigger, to ever read that book.
I mean, when they do, they do. I think for the second reprint of it, it'll all be corrected. But
thank God. I was so worried. Were you guys worried? I was worried. I'm like, oh my God, are they going to fix the book for the second reprint? These people, I'm done. I can't anymore. You guys, I can't. All right. I suffered through this because I'm dedicated. I do these things so you don't have to. I'm taking one for the team, but yeah, this Bayou Mafia Mama. These are their people. These are their people. We know it's their people, but hey, who am I to say, hey, they say it's not. She says it's not. Okay. All right. Not going to end well. Not going to end well. And I'll leave you with this shot here. This beautiful shot of their matching tattoos. They're close. They're together in on it. She doesn't want to read her book though. Doesn't want to read that book. She says she'll have to get mentally prepared to read the book. We understand. We weren't mentally prepared. We were not mentally prepared to read the book. And now some of us are suffering from PTSD. So who do we sue? I don't know. All right, guys, that's it for Becca Scoops for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really, really appreciate it. You guys have a great evening or morning or afternoon. Bye-bye.